being with us. Now, as Alero said earlier, there's been quite some confusion or uncertainties and some furore about the tax reform bills from the presidency. Now, since the president transmitted those executive bills to the National Assembly, of course, it's been like almost like all hell has gone
has broken
loose. Now, that reform package includes 4 bills, as many of us may be aware: the Nigeria Tax Bill, the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. Now, each of this bill addresses specific aspects of tax administration, tax compliance, and tax enforcement in Nigeria. So I have this conversation this morning. Let's have it with 2 people joining us this morning. Oriri Agbaje is a member of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
As well as Dr. Olubenga Adeoye, a chartered accountant and tax professional. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
This promises to be interesting because there's going to be you're going to see some things that you probably haven't seen on this program before. But let me begin with you, madam. When you heard that the way people were going on and on about this bill, knowing what you know about the processes that went into it, how did you feel?
I think first I felt like maybe the people are not calm. They don't trust the government enough that what we are doing will bring positive impact. So it's more of that there is still no trust in what the government is doing. So I felt a little bit down, but we have to get up and keep doing it because there must be change.
Okay, so let me ask you a little more personal question. You're a young person, and a young person in government, so to speak, and then people are saying this. How does that make you feel about this whole idea of governance?
I think before I got into government, I've not had a clear picture. It just always was on the internet. So it's mostly like you're in a dilemma. Should I follow what you're saying or should I dig further? So I think as a young person, I'm like, when these people get to understand what we are doing, then they're going to change their mindset. So it's just all about exposing everything and letting them see the nitty-gritty of what is going on, and they will understand it.
Do you see a challenge with the communication of the ideas so far?
No. Ever since the committee was inaugurated, there have been several consultations, even up until this moment. There's also consultation. So I think communicating with the public has been strategic and it has been in stages.
But you know, where the opposition, so to speak, is coming up from the most are the states, the governors. And so how is it that they don't understand they have tax professionals with them?
I wouldn't speak to that, but it's just like these bills are like a lot. They are changing everything. So you can't just say, oh, I've talked to this person once and they will understand. No, it's in stages. So I think as it progresses, there will still be more consultation, more understanding, more of how it's going to work out. Okay. So it's not just a one-off thing and you back off. No, it has to consultation frequently.
Okay. Doctor, going from what she said about people not understanding and not being patient enough to try to understand what this is all about, some members of the committee faced the National Assembly, I think 2 days ago, and they had a chance to actually explain this thing more comprehensively. And it looked like after that, they had won a few more people onto their side. It seemed that more people now understood exactly what was going on. What was your reading of all that at the National Assembly?
Okay, I'll break it into 3. Number 1, I will have to let you know that there are 3 categories of people: those who misunderstand, those who do not understand, and those that are ignorant. So, the people that misunderstood the bill are the people who are not patient, who do not have an idea of what tax bill is all about. So they misunderstand whatever is
just
that
hear
people.
Tax.
Yes, because tax. The other category of people are the people who do not understand. And that brings me to a level of we need to up our game in the kind of people that we vote or appoint into positions. People that will understand. The third category of people are people who are ignorant. They don't know what is there. They've not seen it. Now, I grew up with elders. There's a Yoruba proverb, and I will try to translate and give you a literal meaning, which says, Tí a bá fi ẹyin sí ọwọ́ ọ̀tún, tá a fi ẹyin sí ọwọ́ òsì, tá a wá fi ẹyin rìn láti Ìsẹ́yìn dé Ìyìn Èkìtì, ẹni tí ò ní yín ni kò ní yín ni. In fact, it says further that ẹni tí ò ní yín ni imú ló máa yín sí ni. Now, what does that imply? If you put egg in your right hand and you put kernel fruit on your left hand,
palm fruit,
yes, and then you walk backward from Ìsẹ́yìn to Ìyìn Èkìtì, which is over 200 kilometers in distance, that the person that will not commend you, he's going to even eat at you and say, what has he done? Now, that comes in from people who just hear tax bill and they say, what is this?
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you, the trouble that I had in all this episode was that I heard that somebody who was a former presidential candidate of a political party, somebody who had been a governor before, made a statement that Lagos want to colonize Kano with the tax bill. And that person is presumed to be an intelligent person who should understand. And I am urging that person to apologize to the good people of Kano and to Nigerians that that statement was made in error. Now, let me tell you one fantastic thing about this tax bill that a lot of people do not understand, which is the derivation. Here is purple, all right? This is purple, big one. Now, in the past, the derivation, the way it is done, is that the place of production or place of, where you manufacture or produce the service will get the full derivation. For example, MTN, Airtel, Globalcom, all the banks, their headquarters is in Lagos, and some oil companies in Port Harcourt. So the derivation from VAT, the entire derivation here is going to go to place of production.
Yep.
The new tax bill is changing that narrative by saying, hey, look here, production place is not the only place to consider. Where they are consuming these items need to be considered. I am from Ogun State. Ogun State is the capital of industrialization in Nigeria now. All the factories in Nigeria, the largest percentage, they are in my state. Now, Nigerian international bureaus, they are in a place called Bara, in Obafemi local government in Ogun State. But I tell you, I don't take alcohol, but large percentage of people that consume that product there, they are probably in Anambra, Enugu, Imo, Ebonyi. So they need to get, so the new tax bill now says, okay, this is the VAT. So this portion is going to go to Kano because this consumption took place in Kano. This portion of MTN VAT is going to go to maybe Anambra State because the usage took place in that place.
Yes.
This one is going to go to Ekiti State because the consumption took place there. This one is going to FCT because the consumption took place there. That is exactly what is in that bill. So the statement you are hearing in the public is contrary to what is in the bill. Now, the conversation that we should be having in this country now among the governors, because I was surprised when I heard some governors making statements that, oh, they need to step down this bill. You should be having conversation around what can we do between state government and the Federal Inland Revenue Services to ensure that the consumption in question is identified.
Perhaps the challenge here, my apologies, it goes back. Can you confirm what he is saying? Because the challenge here that we have seen over time is the challenge of understanding. Can you corroborate what that's what the bill actually is? Because I know he's not a member of that committee.
Yes, understanding is really essential, because when you understand what the bill is trying to say, you'll be able to know that this is for our good and not, it is for us and not against us.
So what do young people particularly need to understand about this bill?
Okay, first, they need to read it up. They need to read it up, because most people don't actually read it. They might just maybe read the front cover or go for summaries or maybe check out maybe what someone did. But when you sit down and read it and you're able to relate it in your own words, you'll be able to argue it out. If you hear it in another form, you'll be like, no, this is how I understand it. Is it different? So they need to go back and read it and understand it and digest it. That way, if somebody points out a wrong thing there, or something that is not there, you'll be able to, what I read is not there. But if you are following what is online, you might just be like, yes, this one says on that. Oh, yes. Just so much information that is not substantial.
So what are the highlights? Because I know he has just spoken with Son about what.
He's spoken about VAT.
So what are these other highlights that people need to know?
Okay, apart from VAT, small businesses that have a revenue below 50 million would not be asked to pay taxes.
Pause. So I make 50 million naira in a year. I don't pay a tax.
Your company.
We're talking about, yes, you don't pay tax. And there's also like a clause to like opt out of it as, okay, I want to pay taxes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, you can offer to, even if your company makes less than 50.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then going back to the VAT, there is also the need for, so value-added tax. The value added is what we are trying to like bring into the picture now. So the value added here is attribution. So attribution is if this, just like the example we said, if this good move from Lagos to, let's say, Anambra, value must have been added. So it is that value that we're going to be taxing. So companies need to like take data generation or analysis serious now. Because if you notice that you move a goods from one place to another, it has to be in record so that the VAT will be calculated well. And there's also like a clause in also the bill that has penalty for those that do not add the attribution clause. They also have the personal income tax of those that the low income earners will not be asked to pay tax. Those that will be asked to pay taxes, like the PIT rather, will be those that earn 12 million annually and above.
Okay, so someone who is earning like, that's about 1.2 million naira a month, right?
Approximately, yes.
You earn 1.2 million naira a month and you don't want to pay tax. I'm trying to understand.
1.2 million a month.
So that's 12 million naira annually.
Oh.
Anything above that, that's what.
Yes, above 12 million naira.
So anyone earning lower doesn't pay tax. Okay. So why then, is this true?
Well, see, this bill, one important...
I understand that there are four. We'll come to the nitty-gritty later.
Yes, this tax bill, you know, my PhD is on tax law and infrastructural development. It took time for you to get various laws together. Now, what this bill has done is to eliminate archaic laws and then unnecessary pieces of legislation. So you have value-added tax somewhere, personal income tax act somewhere, capital gain tax act somewhere, petroleum profit tax act somewhere. Now, at this bill, a lot of people think it's bogus or big. It has just 203 sections only. 203 sections. And so it's easy to understand. If you break it into 20 sections in 10 places, you are done. It means that even researchers can focus on the Nigerian tax bill and begin to say you can even do your PhD dissertation on the tax bill now, as it is, well structured. Apart from that, there is also what is called priority list of industry, crop production, forestry, agriculture, aquaculture, where government is looking at, look, we're going to allow you to enjoy tax holidays as long as you are willing to invest in this sector. Not only that, the issue of turnover less than or equal to 50 million is something so interesting, because what that means is that young entrepreneurs who are acting as agents, I had cause to try to resolve a matter recently of a young boy trying to do a haulage intermediary between quarries and then the truck owners. The guy probably will not make up to 4 million in a month. Though money will come to the account, he pushes the quarries money to them, pushes the one to the truck owner, is having maybe 2 or 3 or 4 million left, 48 million in a year. This company will be exempted from value-added tax, company income tax, and all sorts. You see, that.
What's the objective?
The objective is to encourage startups. Not only that, most jobs are created along this corridor of small and medium scale enterprises.
Of jobs.
And so, rather than stress them about tax payment, you just allow them to grow.
Okay.
And they have stressed many out of business.
Absolutely.
Many have folded up because of paying taxes when they were only turning over 25 million, 30 million a year.
Many people do not also know why some are agitating. We have like 50 taxes that should not even exist. And the intention is that we will have single-digit tax numbers. That in Nigeria, when you enter this country or you want to do business, you know that there are 9 taxes. So you pick the ones that apply to you, single digits.
Okay. Now, one other issue that's been a little troubling is the administration of the process. I see that one of the bills is the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. What do you know about that one? Because now we have, for now, revenue agencies include customs, FIRS. I don't know whether prisons make money. I don't think they make money.
Immigration is making money.
Immigration is making money.
Everybody's making money.
So, how does this whole thing?
So, very good.
Sorry, Doctor. Just before you answer that, I also want to add that we discussed business in Nigeria on this program before, and some business people actually told us that they are paying 37 different taxes.
No, it's more than that.
That's about 50.
It's about 50.
Oh, sorry. And so even they were wrong.
No, he already spoke to that.
Non-state actors. Non-state actors are collecting taxes. Non-state actors, empowered by politicians, they throw nails on the road and they say, this one is emission. This one is gas development. This one is what. Look, in the days when I used to drive from here to Benue in Boko on the road, if you dare drive a bus, commercial bus, they will stop you in many places. And then you get to Kogi State. Kogi will tell you, oh no, you don't have so permit.
The Kogi version.
In the Kogi version. If you get to Delta, the Delta people will come and say, oh, sorry, yes, we have seen you have all this, but you don't have this one. Look, sometimes I tell clients, just ignore these people, because it's not in our laws.
But they won't let you go if you ignore them.
And some state comes up with all sorts of, and even local government. So what we're trying to do now as a country is to harmonize all the taxes and make sure at a glance you will know what you have to pay. So You are able to predict the taxes that are due. Now, the joint tax that Ayo was talking about. See, if I were to be these governors, you should be concerned about the administration. How all of us will put our eyes and say, how much has come into the federation? FIRS, how much have you gotten for us? So respective states are able to ensure that entities that are within their territory, you are enjoying pay as you earn from them. However, entities that supply goods into your state, you are ensuring that their returns is adequate so that we can say, oh, in Ogun State we have consumed this. We are expecting this as derivation from VAT. Now, the other revenue that we're talking about, so you now have custom is doing its own, immigration is doing, revenue is revenue. Let everything be in a joint purse. However, you can have officers that are trained to clear goods like the customs, but it is still the federal inland revenue that collect taxes. All the VAT that you pay at the port also comes to FIRS. And so we need to now deliberately make laws that will now harmonize all of these revenue sources so that the Council of State, everybody, we can see what is coming in.
Okay, madam, wanted to add to what he's saying.
Yes, drawing from what Doctor has said, it will allow states to up their games, be able to build their resources. You be on standby that this goods is coming to my state, value must be added. So you are not just maybe letting it just pass by like that. You work on efficiency, work on effectiveness, utilize your resources. So you just make everyone up their game and the economy will grow that way.
No, there is also the word out there. By the way, we got this comment from Festus Akimboyewa, who says, the brouhaha we are seeing over tax reform bills is uncalled for. There is no doubt that our tax system is in need of reform. Tax bills in the National Assembly, if passed into law, will improve our tax system and attract both local and foreign investments. Our current tax system is loaded with deadweight costs that are holding back our development. Improving our economy is a task that must be done, and these tax bills will be central to our economic development. Well, granted and taken as that may be, one of the challenges that has been the issue, and I think we mentioned it the other time, is whether or not we have engaged the governors. Because as Dr. Adeoye said, if the governors knew what is in it for them, I don't think there'll be so much opposition. Do these laws also, will they apply to the revenue generation of the states? Not from the federal government, but of the states themselves?
The IGRs?
Yeah.
Not directly, but indirectly it would affect them. So that's why I made mention of the VAT. Now that they're doing it by attribution, everyone will up their game. The value must actually be added in my state. So indirectly, everyone is trying to make impact somewhere.
But Orire, don't forget that the states are so used to going to Abuja at the end. In fact, some of them even live in Abuja. Some governors live in Abuja from one collection to the next. They're so used to going there, cap in hand, to collect money every month. You want them to sit in their states now and begin to think about how to add value? Isn't that a tall order?
The country needs to change, ma'am. We need to move away from where we are. So everyone needs to all hands on deck, ma'am.
All hands on deck.
You're essentially corroborating what Dr. Adeoye said the other time, that we have to get people in office who can understand
what is to be done.
Do you know that in this tax bill, there is a provision changing how personal income tax is computed? You have up to 800,000, if that is what is left after taking the allowances, 0%. Now, if what is left is up to 15 million in your hands, you are paying 25% to the state. This tax here, personal income tax, is direct to state government. And there are many big men with private jets using G-Wagon and all of that, that by their lifestyle, we can conclude that they will be in the category of 50 million.
You now see, Alero, why each state needs an airport.
So apart from that,
so that you get where to park your private jet. Now, Doctor, how easy is it going to be for the tax net to be widened? I see that is something that, part of this is trying to do. Make those who earn a lot of money pay commensurate amounts to either the state or the federal government, as the case may be. How easy is that going to be?
Now, I will say this. I was talking to some friends recently. I said, before any man goes out to contest for election and say you want to be governor of any state, give me your tax clearance certificate.
That can be contrived.
Let me see how much you paid in the last 3 years or 10 years, and not the one you lump up and pay penultimate year to election. 2026, you now go and pay 25 million naira, chicken change to us. Not only that, now widening the tax net has to do with sincerity. He who comes to equity must come with clean hand. If a leader, now I'm starting from governors, commissioners, president, and all the people in leadership. If you, in your own private sector practice, you are paying correct taxes, then you will be bold to say, Mr. X, can you please? So, sincerity and then data.
Dr. Adoye.
Data is key. Now, sincerity comes in when you look at Ayo has 2 G-Wagon in his house. His house worth about 5 billion naira in Banana Island. And Ayo tax clearance is showing that he has only paid 1 million per year tax. 3 years. What type of nonsense income?
I was obeying the law.
I happen to be the governor of the state. We are going to take part of those cars, actually.
Why?
To enforce.
But Mr.
There is no law as at today. There is no law that mandates you to collect my G-Wagon.
No.
You are using a 1938 law.
Enforcement of tax laws comes in any form. You see, there is what we call power of distraint. We can take over your house, your office, lock the place up, and take what belongs to
and
government.
I will take you to court.
Let me be sincere with you, and I'm being honest with you. The politicians, they constitute 99% of our problems.
Exactly.
They don't pay taxes adequately. And I have seen tax returns. I have seen.
Are you talking about politicians who are office holders or just?
You know, many of the politicians in business before coming to politics. So you just go and do crash program returns.
But
a year before election.
Dr. Adoye, who are the ones aiding and abetting them in this? Tax consultants.
No, that's where I'm coming from. I'm saying sincerity and data. If the government is sincere, for example, if I'm a governor of a state and you are my friend, all I need to do is to ask the State Internal Revenue Services to give me the list of the highest 100 taxpayers. And I look at it.
And your name is not there.
And I did not see your name. And of course, the figure that I'm seeing does not even make sense. You understand? Recently, I told one organization, I said, look, I am from Ogun State. The withholding tax you are taking from me must go to my state because I'm going to file my returns. Right? And that withholding tax is what you are going to use to reduce the tax payable. So if we take the data, and the data is obvious, at the events, you see people spraying dollars, you see people, you are driving a car of 350 million, and your tax returns, your income that you have declared in the last 10 years is not even up to 100 million. But you bought a brand new car of 350 million.
It was a gift. It was a gift. It was a gift.
The person who gave you the gift, we are going to check him too, whether he has paid
He is a taxpayer.
So data is key.
Okay.
And then sincerity on the part of our politicians. So that when the tax people gives this the assessment, he will just call the governor. See your people, they want to stress me, and the governor calls them. Don't you know that man sponsor our campaign?
Exactly.
You better leave it alone.
Yes.
If you can sponsor a campaign, why can't you pay taxes?
I wonder. Orire, this may be a small part of it, but I think it's an integral part of what we're talking about. A lot of young people now work in fintech, and a lot of them are earning incomes that are paid to them in foreign currency, paid to them either here or abroad. How do they pay taxes on those incomes? Because I know that many of them are not paying taxes right now. And they're earning huge sums of monies.
Maybe in foreign
not
currency.
Maybe. I know that for a fact. They're all very well paid.
Yes, I agree. But you know, with the naira depreciation, when they convert it, it's not even worth it at all. But part of this bill covers it. Those working remotely and in digital spaces, it covers how they are going to be taxed, because before now it was not like properly stated and structured, so it was just like all over the place. But the Nigerian tax bill also covers it, and it also went further to also encourage people that want to work remotely, because most people, well, some of their concerns would be the conversion and how it's convenient. So this the bill is going to like encourage them to like, you can work remotely, and those who are working remotely would also pay taxes.
How do the authorities even know that they exist? I am working, I've graduated, I've got a job with Facebook, let's say.
Or Amazon.
And I'm sitting in my house, and I'm doing the work from my house, and I'm getting paid my dollars quietly. So how does the authorities even know that I exist and that I'm working?
Yeah, I'll draw from what Doctor has said, data. When fiscalization comes on board...
How does the data get to the authorities?
You know, taxes is... The way this tax system would be now, there would be no hiding. Everyone is going to come into the light. Everyone's going to come into the light.
Okay.
So that's
it's the how I want you to tell me.
I wouldn't want to share all of it because of agitation and all. Because
okay, there's some secret means you all want to use to
not secret. I wouldn't want a misunderstanding on that. We've not even sorted out the misunderstanding. Yes. So I'm just going to say that when fiscalization comes on board with the use of technology, everyone is going to be on that.
So all those of us who are content producers too.
Everybody.
Monetize content.
Everybody.
There is even
everybody.
Nigeria will subscribe to this data collection with the US, and some other countries are keen into it. In fact, this November, it has become so critical that your data, because your date of birth, your name, is now being synchronized globally. Therefore, yes, there's a synchronization going on. Yes, so if you have bank account in United Kingdom and you are here pretending to us that you are a pauper and therefore not paying appropriate taxes, the United Kingdom is going to share with us that. So, because there is what we call...
your neck suddenly itched you.
Non-tax identification number holder. Yet they have bank accounts in another country, but their tax identification is in Nigeria. So Nigeria here, their bank statement is showing 2 million a year into their bank account. But the law in Nigeria now is that you can't set up any business and you want to open bank account without having tax identification number.
Yes.
So this comes through the Joint Tax Board and the Federal Inland Revenue Services. So if you now want to open bank accounts in the US, in UK, in other places, you must provide tax identification of your country of domicile. that is where you are living. So these agencies of government in other countries have a duty to share your data with us.
Now we're getting serious.
So they will share your data with us, and that's why when Kemi Adeosun was Minister of Finance, she came up with a program, VADS, Voluntary Asset and Income Declaration Scheme. We ought not to have dropped that scheme. After the expiration, we ought to open another window and say, we are begging you now, come by yourself. Tell us the houses you own in Dubai, the money in your account in UK.
Otherwise,
you are not paying taxes there, but you are here. Otherwise, so data will be shared. In fact, in the UK now, there is a scheme that they say if you the income that cannot be substantiated as being earned here will be deemed to have been proceed of corruption or something.
I think
they will give us reports.
Yes.
And then the tax authority. So in this bill, the new tax bill is now engaging young Nigerians who are IT experts, who will not have to put on shirt and tie and come to Federal Inland Revenue. They will be working remotely. Through them, we will get you. We'll get all your data around the world.
Well, right now,
in street balance, it don't cast.
Everybody go chop breakfast last.
Oh.
Well,
all those who are stealing our money are going to hide abroad.
It's looking to me like Mr. Oyedele may have to engage Dr. Adeoye as one of his consultant communicators. My friend. Thank you so much for all of this. At least, hopefully, some people have gotten better elucidation about this as opposed to just the noise that we've been hearing. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Dr. Olugbenga Adeoye is a chartered accountant and a tax professional.
And a lawyer.
Yes. And we've also heard Ms. Oriri Agbaje, who is a member of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. We are aware, somebody sent us a mail that you are not telling us everything yet. We are expecting all of the information. All right. Well, that's our first discussion this morning. Very hot topic of the week. Up next is another very hot topic. Don't go away.